This is not easy. And what I mean by that is business, starting a company, building a brand is not what I thought it would be. I'm only a few months into it, but before I started it and when I was just starting it, I it was like a long checklist of items that I needed to check off just to be able to get going and just to get to the point where I could produce my product and get it to customers. So getting all the materials, getting all the permissions from local government, getting my website set up, learning how to fulfill orders in an efficient way. All that stuff it was a lot of work, but it was like I was just checking off items I knew I needed to do. And it was a constant feeling of achievement every step of the way. But now that I've achieved all those little goals that allowed me to get to where I am, I am having to shift my focus almost entirely to how to get customers, advertising, putting money into advertising, finding opportunities to get my name in front of people, and reaching out to people, people I know, people on social media, just to see if anyone's interested in buying some coffee. And it is a much harder grind than I had anticipated. You know, whenever you start a company, you're really excited about it. You think people are gonna like it. Naively, you think that people are immediately gonna jump on board and they're gonna be excited about it, and people are just gonna start buying your product and it's gonna build. That's not what is happening. And again, I'm only a few months in, so I have gotten a lot of support in the first few months, but it's at a point where it's stagnant and it's not growing, and it's not enough to keep up with my costs. And this is a very real reality of starting a business that you hear about. You hear people say, "Oh, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. It's hard. You have to sacrifice a lot. You doubt yourself. It's such a hard thing to do." And you're like, "Oh, yeah, I get it. Like, it's hard. Like, of course it's hard. I mean, there's so many things you have to manage." But when all that stuff becomes real, it just feels so much different. Whenever you're working nonstop, you're constantly improving things, you're trying to get customers, you're reaching out to people, and you're not getting that. Either you're not hearing back or people just aren't interested. You're not getting that sense of immediate gratification from something working. So it really tests your perseverance and your belief in what you're doing. Because a lot of what you do is it's like you're not getting anything in return, but that's part of the deal. And again, like these are things that people talk about. People say this stuff and it doesn't really sink in until you're in it firsthand. And man, it's just so real. I mean, every day I'm thinking, what else can I do to get this thing going, to get people to be interested? And it's a really hard. Everyone who builds a company or is trying to build a brand, they're all going through the same thing. They're all trying to figure out how to get people interested, how to get people engaged. And they fail over and over again. Even the biggest companies in the world try advertising campaigns that fail, or they try social media things that just either people don't like it or they don't care about it. Everyone's going through the same thing. It's It's a new thing that I'm experiencing. But the good thing is that I care so much about what I'm doing and I believe in it so much that I'm willing to go through these hard times that are basically now to hopefully come out the other side. If I was making some product I didn't care about, or I was trying to build a business that it was just about money that I didn't really have much interest in, I would just give up. I mean, but for this, there's no giving up. There's only trying things, and if they don't work, pivoting and then trying something else. And the other thing is putting money up to try things that you don't know if you're going to get your money back on advertising. Or I haven't done this yet, but I need to reach out to creators and sponsor posts and sponsor events and stuff like that. That's real money of mine that I have to put forward that might not have a return. And that's just a very real risk of starting a business that, again, you hear about it and people say, oh yeah, it's a risk, it's an investment, but it's hard when you're in it because you want to be calculated, you don't want to waste money, but you have to take the risk and put the money up to get your name in front of people, basically. It's a hard balance that I'm still trying to figure out. And I've barely even scratched the surface on what that's going to look like. But I got to keep trying. And all the promotional work is like the real dirty work of trying to build a business, is just trying to get people to buy something. And it shouldn't be that hard with coffee, right? Because everyone likes coffee. Everyone needs it in the morning, basically. And it's something that people really enjoy. It has a whole culture around it that I love. I mean, I love everything about it. That's why I'm in it. And I have a great product, so that helps. But the real dirty work, non-glamorous part of business that I think a lot of people don't want to put themselves through because there's a lot of rejection and there's a lot of maybe internal fear of judgment from people whenever you are making something and you want people to buy it. Part of you is afraid that people are gonna think, oh, this is stupid, I'm not interested in this, the price is too high. There's all kinds of things that you could imagine that people might think about it that can keep you from going for it and can keep you from selling it and promoting it as you should. And that's a very real thing for me that I am having to learn how to grow out of or grow into. I don't know. But I'm getting better at it, and hopefully in a few years it won't be a problem. I don't want to ever get to a point where I'm just totally shamelessly promoting to everyone in my life or on the internet, because that is annoying. But there's a balance between just realness and also just trying to sell something. But that's basically the gist of the video. If any of you are trying to start something or build something, maybe you're in the same shoes. Maybe you can understand what I'm saying here. But there's a whole world of people who talk about entrepreneurship or think about it or engage with content related to it that have never done it. And I was one of those people for a long time. And you soak up this information and it only seems exciting before you've started doing it. Not that it's not exciting now, but whenever you start doing it, you're hit with all the realities of it, and everything's on you. Everything is on you to keep things going and to keep it growing and building. And it's a responsibility, and it's also sometimes you just don't know what to do. You're like, well, what else can I do? So right now I'm dealing with things being a little stagnant, and I want things to grow so much, and I need to figure out how to do that. And it's all on me. So that's where things are at right now.